The hottest team in the MPSL looks to stay that way as Detroit City FC plays host to FC Indiana. The club's going up on a Tuesday. Detroit City FC soccer leaves the station next. Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside historic Keyworth Stadium, where tonight the hottest team in the MPSL, Detroit City FC, looks to stay that way as they play host to FC Indiana. Alongside my broadcast partner, John Krieger, my name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us wherever you may be watching around the world. And John, Detroit City FC right now in the mix, in the depths of a 3-match and 6-night stretch that continues here on Tuesday against FC Indiana. The depth will be put to the ultimate test here tonight.
Absolutely it will. You're going to see a lot of different faces in the City squad tonight, including a goalkeeper making his City debut. That's Fernando Pena. You might know him if you follow U.S. under-17 team news. He was the former starting keeper for that outfit, now playing down at Coastal Carolina. We'll see him between the sticks. But the good news for City faithful is that most of the players you'll see tonight have played with each other at some point this season. So the squad rotation Ben Pierman used in the early year paying dividends tonight.
And as we look at the current standings, as we take a look at the MPSL table, we talked about how hot this Detroit City FC team is coming in. The standings reflect it just like that in second place.
You know what? In the playoff places, and you control your own destiny. That's what happens when you're one of the hottest teams in all of U.S. soccer on a 6 wins on the spin run. City now coming in and having to go in a trap game against the bottom-dwelling team in the Great Lakes Division and put that hot start and hot run on the line.
As the balls are flying around here, everybody's getting ready for the action here today. And John, Detroit City FC, when you look at what they have to do on a Friday, the Michigan Stars will be in town after tonight, a couple of well-deserved days off, but the action will pick back up this weekend.
It will indeed. Michigan Stars coming in for the third match in this 4-match run right here at Keyworth Stadium. But before we get to Michigan Stars and the week ahead, City have to pick up 3 points against FC Indiana tonight. This is the classic trap game. And as you look at a tough weekend against the Stars team that pegged them back from a 2-goal lead in the away fixture on the opening weekend of the season, you got to forget about that for a while. Focus on 3 points tonight. Get the job done, make it 7 in a row, and get ready for the rematch against the Stars.
And back on June 4th, DCFC got a big 3-1 road win against FC Indiana. Sean Lawson, as hard as that is to believe, scored a goal in that game, and he hasn't stopped scoring since.
No, he hasn't. 5 goals in his last 6 games. Well-deserved member of the NPSL Team of the Week, alongside Zach Bach on the back line. 2 Detroit City players receiving nationwide honors, and well-deserved. But the big thing about the City resurgence during this 6-match run has been their service and really the team unity and the ability of Ben Pierman to bring on super subs like Elijah Rice, who got the game winner on Friday night and had a good weekend overall for LaRouge. When you have a cast of characters like that, players like Sean Claude Lawson can come in and do what they do.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the starting 11 here for tonight. John, we talked about it just a couple moments ago. The depth will be put to the test as we take a look at this starting 11. Some faces that you might not be used to seeing in terms of the starting 11, but this is what they're rolling with here tonight as the club looks to go up on a Tuesday.
Sure, absolutely. We talked about Fernando Pena between the sticks. You also have Owen Hoskins making a rare appearance, but you do have some of the mainstays. Zach Bach will be out there tonight, as will Elijah Rice, the super stub and game winner from Friday night. And of course, Sean Claude Lawson on the dress list. He'll be ready if Ben Pierman needs to bring him off the bench. So some newcomers, some squad players and rotation guys, and a good spine for City against FC Indiana.
Well, the club is ready. I know that you're ready. We're ready, too, to bring you all the action. It's DCFC and FC Indiana, and we got it for you coming up next. Coverage of the Detroit City Football Club is brought to you by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Live stream coverage of the Detroit City Football Club is brought to you by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Welcome back inside historic Keyworth Stadium, just moments away from the opening kick. Detroit City FC and FC Indiana. Neil Rule, John Krieger back with you. Perfect weather conditions here for any outdoor activity. And despite the fact, John, that it's Tuesday, that doesn't seem to affect the Northern Guard. They are out and they are strong as always.
Pound for pound, the best supporters in all of sports, and they've been at it early. You got to give them credit. There are a number of people in that crowd tonight that were on a bus to Milwaukee to see City wrap up 3 points. They left Royal Oak before 4 in the morning,
right.
Chartered a bus, cheered their heads off at Hart Park in Milwaukee, did City proud, and then came back, and the captain, Dave Edwardson, went over and spoke to some of the leaders of the Northern Guard and said, you know what, the fact that you guys chartered a bus and came out and went all this way just to support us, it means things we can't even put into words. And so it certainly felt the bond between supporter and player in this club, and they're back at it just like us 48 hours later to try to go for win number 7 in a row.
And we talked about that a good deal in the open, how this is Detroit City's third match in just 6 nights. It's third match in 6 nights for that group as well, mixed in with a road trip to Milwaukee. They're still coming strong.
They are indeed. You know, the fun part about it is they talk about, if you follow a lot of guardsmen on Twitter, you talk about City hangover. They had it coming in from the smoke on Sunday, but they're back here. Way to go.
Now we'll go to the walkout with LaRouge, presented by Metro PCS. This week the players are joined from the youth players from the U10 Detroit Galaxy.
Alongside Detroit City FC for tonight's walkout with LaRouge, presented by Metro PCS, our players from the U10 Detroit Galaxy. Thanks to Metro PCS, the official wireless provider of DCFC. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in the booth tonight, special guest from WDET, Pat Batchelor.
And now for tonight's starting lineups, presented by Henry Ford Health System. For FC Indiana, number 1, Kyle Bouguet. Number 2, Steven Munoz. Number 3, Kevin Amaizo. Number 5, Jared Blea. Number 9, Mohamed Bakayoko. Number 12, Alex Sang-Suango. Number 16, Brock Exline. Number 17, Mehdi Himich. Number 18, Benjamin Zamora. Number 21, Henry Ramirez. Number 23, Stephen Smith. The head coach of Indiana is Chris Castro. He is joined by Eric Castro and Oscar Flores. Your officials for tonight's match are Mark Lawrence, Igor Resnick, Matthew Keith, and Giuseppe Agosta. And now, for your hometown, Detroit City FC starting 11. Number 44, Kervin Kenton. Number 33, Derek Oten. Number 32, Elijah Rice. Number 19, Roddy Green. Number 16, Adam Spinks. Number 14, Zach Bach. Number 10, Cyrus Sadie. Number 3, Spencer Glass. Number 2, Owen Hoskins. And your goalkeeper, number 20, Fernando Pena. And captain, number 18, Dave Edwardson. The head coach of Detroit City FC is Ben Pierman. technical advisor is Klaus DeBoer. Assistant coaches are Jordan Andrews, Josh Rogers, and Brett Mullen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for our national anthem, led by the Detroit City FC supporters section.
Sing loud! Sing proud! Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
Our national anthem, as always, led by the Northern Guard here at historic Keyworth Stadium. Let's take a look at the kickoff weather. As we talked about, a perfect evening for any outdoor activity. It's a beautiful night to ride up to Keyworth, and if you do, and for all those that did, DCFC has you covered with a free bike valet provided by Wheelhouse Detroit, with locations in Hamtramck and downtown Detroit. 72, some clouds starting to creep in, but John, that's room temperature, my friend, for a reason.
And that's a good thing for the players tonight. It is a lot cooler than it was here on Friday night when Kalamazoo FC was in town, and it means you have a less of a chance of cramping, you have a less of a chance of heat-induced fatigue, and players can go and be able to expend a little more energy, and that's good for City with some squad rotation for Ben Pierman's club. The spine that's been in there for most of this stretch so far, the 3 matches in 6 days, can go out there and not have to battle the heat.
Mark Lawrence is a head referee tonight. Igor Resnick, an assistant, as is Matthew Keith. Giuseppe Augusto is the 4th official. So we're just moments away from the opening kick. Big match here tonight for Detroit City FC, looking to continue their assault on the table. They are winners of 6 in a row. Have come from the depths to challenge now for a league championship, occupying 2nd place. FC Indiana in the Road Reds with the white trim. Le Rouge in the Le Rouge today.
The all-maroon kit with the hoops. Love seeing the hoops back for the Detroit City FC boys. The hoop kit, a very popular one from early in the club's history. And with the switch to Adidas this season, they've got the hoops back, and the boys look good. Very surprised, by the way, to see FC Indiana allowed to wear a kit with a red body. Normally it's incumbent upon the road team to change the kit into something that is of contrast. I can tell you that in the Premier League or in major European leagues, FC Indiana wouldn't be allowed to wear what they're wearing right now. But sometimes when you have this kind of situation with Indiana traveling up, things are allowed.
The opening kick is brought to you by Chemical Bank, and the first 15 minutes of action brought to you by Henry Ford Health System, the official sports medicine provider, DCFC. So we are underway here in Hamtramck. Early throw-in coming for FC Indiana, as off to the side, Kervin Kenton getting a talking to by the official. It looks like in the early going. But John, here tonight, FC Indiana, formation-wise, everybody Always so enthralled with formations. They're running a bit of a strange one here tonight, the old 4-1-4-1.
You know what? That's not a formation City sees all that often. Normally you'll see a 4-3-3, sometimes 3 at the back, or a 4-4-2 is the more traditional formation. City runs a 4-3-3. That means 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 attackers. For FC Indiana, it's 4-1-4-1. Basically, it splits the field in half. You've got 5 defensive-minded players, 5 offensive-minded players. And it's a nod to how strong City's attack is, as there's an early foul just outside the area about 30 yards from goal. It's a nod to how strong City's front line and midfield are, that FC Indiana feels that they not only have to have 4 midfielders across to try to win possession, but they're committing a 5th midfielder, kind of a holding midfielder, in front of the back 4 to shut down City's potent attack.
Kevin Amazo looks to be the point man here for this free kick. He's been invited to some pro trials coming up over in Germany. Amazo serves it into the box. It's headed up in the air. 50-50 ball loose in the box, and that ball is saved by the starting goalkeeper here tonight, Fernando Pena. So Pena seeing his first action of the season, seeing his first action of this match just 2 minutes in.
And Pena, of course, the former U17 keeper. It's a ball in the box that gets down, and Owen Hoskins loses position, loses his man, and Pena does a nice job to get down to the post. That's a harder save than you might think because of how low it is, and the keeper having to get down on this slick artificial surface here at Keyworth.
The corner served up, and Pena comes up with a two-handed punch, and a foul is called. Fernando Pena, you talked about it, was a goalkeeper on the U.S. men's national team, the U17 U.S. men's national team. Also a strong player, was actually kicked off his college career at the college soccer powerhouse Akron, then transferred to Coastal Carolina, quarterbacked Coastal Carolina to some big wins, beat UCLA during his time. He's a big-time talent and a big-time player.
He is, and he's coming out trying to put himself on display. And I'll tell you what, that punch and parry, a very nice claim. He got fouled in the process, but unafraid to sacrifice the body. I already like the way he was able to claim his area. It's a nice addition for City.
A man who always claims his area, Cyrus Sadie, fouled. Look back at the official and say, hey, where was the whistle? Mehdi Hemich standing in front of him. Now Detroit City FC will wing it to the left side and look to go to work offensively. Ball served in at the top of the D, was headed straight up in the air by Elijah Rice. Rice, the hero on Friday night's match against Kalamazoo FC. He got the game winner in the second half.
And Rice coming on, and I loved his quote after the game was, the goal was already manifested. I just had to be there and go get it. And he enjoyed his City debut and had another nice game in Milwaukee on Sunday.
Head coach there, Ben Pierman, assistant coach at Michigan State, was a 3-year starter at MSU during his time as a player, won 2 Big Ten championships, went to 3 NCAA tournaments. The head coach typically for FC Indiana is Chris Castro. However, he is away with some international duty. Eric Castro, his brother, serving as the coach here tonight. That corner served up and headed over top of the bar by Kervin Kenton.
Had a nice chance to speak with Chris Castro, who was in San Juan with El Huracán Azul. He had the chance. He's a longtime servant of FC Indiana, but when the chance came to serve his homeland and work with the national teams, he's getting ready for a CONCACAF competition. He was nice enough to speak with me earlier in the day to tell me about this FC Indiana team and this club that he and his brother, it's been a vision of theirs to build. And they are back in the NPSL with a younger side than a lot of what you see for City and other teams in the league, trying to give them experience moving up against tougher competition. And so age sometimes a factor, but they're trying to hold their own. In his words, the way they're playing and the way they're coming together, it isn't indicative of the fact that we're the bottom team in the table, and he wants a good effort from his side tonight from long range.
Alex Sansuongo, the guilty party on the foul. Sansuongo plays for the Chicago Mustangs in the Major Arena Soccer League. An opportunity to do a season of Detroit Waza Flow during their time in the MASL. He's a big fan of the indoor game. John watched it a lot growing up.
Detroit Rockers in neon.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching the Dallas Sidekicks on TV with Tattoo and those guys. It was a lot of fun. That ball played up by Munoz and over the line. Throw-in coming for Detroit City. John, you tracked down Chris Cash. There's not a man in this NPSL that escapes John Krieger when he's on the hunt.
Part of being a part of the best broadcast that I've been ever a part of in my career in the United States is giving the other side their due, and to the credit, whenever I speak with an NPSL manager, they're always complimentary of what we're building here in Detroit, and Chris Castro was no exception. He texted me after we were done speaking. There's a nice play back there, and that's a heck of a punt by Pena. I'll tell you what,
that's different right there.
We've seen some difficulty with Colin Miller and Nate Steinwasser, the other two keepers that have featured for City this year, and no disrespect to them, but they've had trouble, especially with back passes, putting a boot through it and clearing the lines. You see the difference there from Pena, completely reversing the field.
That ball just exploded off his right foot, high up in the air, coming down to midfield.
And Chris Castro was very complimentary of the City of Detroit and what we're building here. He says, just like the coach for Kalamazoo FC said on Friday night, that what we're building here in Detroit, what Detroit City FC has, should be a model for this country. And I agree with him wholeheartedly.
The ball touched high in the air, and fans, keep in mind that you can keep in touch with everything that is going on during the broadcast. Send us a tweet with the hashtag WatchCity. We'll be getting to those as the evening progresses, as we get a whistle and a stoppage out on the field. Gives us an opportunity to catch up with everything that is going on Twitter. Andy in SDCA says, checking in from San Diego with the hashtag WatchCity. You certainly do appreciate that. Also got a tweet sent to us by our friend Pete Baxter. Says he's in Belfast, Ireland, watching the game, listening to us on the commentary. Says it's hard to believe it's been a month since Glenn Torren's visit here to Detroit. And Pete, we appreciate you. Well, not just me and John, but the entire fan base, the entire organization appreciate you sticking with us and checking in and keeping tabs, as we will certainly do so with the Glens as well when their season resumes.
Neil, the first 8 minutes were goalless, but it's been decidedly City. There's only been one real attack for FC Indiana, and part of that is because City's been able to play to an advantage. The front man for FC Indiana, Mohamed Bakayoko, in that 4-1-4-1, doesn't really track back on defense, and we see him, he's all the way the other side of the center line while City's trying to move forward. He's letting the other 9 players on the field as a foul, and a talking to comes in from our referee tonight. But
Cyrus Sadie's animated tonight.
And Cyrus, he feels hard done by, and he should. He's coming in on the ball, and a challenge comes in and catches. And now that's a late challenge. And you know it's a late challenge because Mehdi Himic comes up and immediately starts to appeal to the referee saying, right, I did nothing wrong. And the quicker you protest and say, I did nothing wrong, the more you did wrong.
The more guilty you are,
yes,
typically. So here comes a ball that'll be served up by Spencer Glass into the box. And the starting goalkeeper here today will punch it out, and Kyle Bouguet does so. Bouguet's a youngster, former high school great in Indiana.
He crashed into his center back, however. That was Benjamin Zamora, who's making a spot start for number 4, Ricardo Ruiz, who was supposed to be at right back today but was injured in training. And so it's Zamora that came in and undercut his keeper. Had City been there, they could have played under that ball, but City really didn't have a run going to either post, and so FC Indiana able to clear and reset things.
FC Indiana this year, 1 win, 7 losses, 1 draw, sitting currently at the bottom of the table. They're coming off a 5-0 loss at Ann Arbor on Saturday, but they do have an undefeated mark against Kalamazoo. Here comes a dangerous opportunity. Elijah Rice on the move, scissoring, stepping with a shot, and the shot is blocked.
And well done to Benjamin Zamora. Again, he stayed on his feet and moved over and tracked with his man and didn't allow Elijah Rice. Elijah Rice was trying to footwork. He was trying to get his defender to commit, because that's when you can go around and you look there. He stayed in, got the foot in, made the block. That's heads-up defending by a smart center back that didn't allow himself to be beaten by the man with the ball.
We mentioned FC Indiana, they have a 1-0-1 mark against Kalamazoo this year. So all the points they've gotten against Kalamazoo, who showed to be a capable side here last Friday. It's always interesting how those things work themselves out.
Well, you know, Kalamazoo had to deal with a lot of injury issues in the beginning of the year as Bakayoko plays it forward and FC Indiana tries to go with the counter and a pass goes off. Kalamazoo had a lot of injury and a lot of squad rotation in the beginning of the year. They had training difficulties. They couldn't get the whole squad in. We know how that is. Sometimes that's happened in different years here for Detroit City as players juggle their regular lives with playing in a semi-pro, non-paid environment. And so they finally clicked in, were able to get a squad healthy and together, and they went out and absolutely shocked Lansing United, and then came through and gave City a real run. And so Kalamazoo could play spoiler for the rest of the season. I'm interested to see how that squad improves.
Whistle blows the play dead. Gives us an opportunity to catch back up at the hashtag Watch City. NGS Harvard Yard tweeting in saying, so glad to have Neil Rowe and John Krieger keeping me company just north of Boston with the hashtag Watch City. Our good buddy NGS Louisville says Hail Caesar with the hashtag Watch City. Nicole Getz checking in as well from Marshall, doing some farm work. They appreciate the chance to watch City, and Nicole, we certainly do appreciate you taking a break from the farm work and checking in. And again, social media always amazes me, John, how it brings the world together. Jamie Ventura checking in as well, says circumstances prevent us from being at Keyworth. Thank God for the stream. Nice to hear the guys. Jamie, it's nice to see you checking in as well.
Nice job here in midfield to Kevin Amizo, trying to create some space, but then he puts the ball backward and allows City midfield to set up and get behind it, and the ball put harmlessly out of play. City doing a very good job when FC Indiana has been able to get some space in the attacking third as Akaboko tries to turn a man and gets closed down by a center back and goes down way too easy, and the referee does nothing with it. But City doing a very nice job to adjust and not allow any type of formation or set play or set piece to be set up. Nice job by the City back line.
Here comes some pressure from Roddy Green, and it results in a turnover. So here comes the captain, Dave Edwardson. Tries the through ball. Elijah Rice, the target, but it's taken away from him.
And that offensive play right there, City in attack, they're playing a ball to a point. They're playing a ball in space. And when you have a 4-3-3 and you want your attackers to make runs.
This play is offside, a delayed flag set up. As Mohamed Bakayoko put the ball in the net, but it will not count. Gives us an opportunity to give you our Better Made fun fact for today. Now tonight is NPR Day here, National Public Radio Day here at the Detroit City FC game. So in honor of our partnership with Public Radio, WDET, the local NPR station, really an institution in radio in the city of Detroit. WDET was founded by the United Auto Workers in 1948 and was sold to Wayne State University in 1952 and converted to a non-commercial status radio station. Today, more than half of WDET's annual operating revenue is listener funded. And Detroit City FC is proud to support the independent voice for the Detroit region.
I'm a loyal WDET listener, whether it's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, or Ask Me Another. All of the NPR shows that really provide a listening environment unlike anywhere else in radio. And WDET has been a community treasure and a proud backer of Detroit City Football Club from the start, giving the owners a chance to tell Detroit about the great things we have going on here at City and also reporting on City scores and news. City tries and does run itself like a professional club, and we get the professional club treatment from a community treasure, WDET.
Irvin Kenton up the left side. On the move, sends the cross. That was dangerous to Roddy Green. Stopped just short of the target, which was Roddy Green. Now FC Indiana looking to turn the field, and that foul will be called against Adam Spinks.
Bit of a cynical challenge there from Spinks. He knew he was beaten, and credit to him, he took him down in such a fashion that he wasn't going to draw a booking, but that certainly won't escape our referee tonight. And if Mr. Spinks continues in that vein, he could pick up a yellow for accumulation, but he knew what he was doing there and stopped any flow on the counterattack, which is how FC Indiana will try to beat City tonight.
Tim Hansen checking in from Tulsa, Oklahoma with the hashtag Watch City. Appreciate that. Our good buddy Gus Macker's got the boat fired up down in Key Largo. You know that. That guy's living right. I'm going to get down to that boat one of these days.
City's midfield there just closing down the passing lanes. And when that happens, you try to reverse field and send something up. But on this artificial surface, if your pass isn't crisp, as we saw there, and it goes out of play, bad things happen, and an offensive attack can die quick and quiet, and City gets possession back.
The next 15 minutes is presented by Faygo, the official pop of Detroit City FC. Of course, the broadcast booth here, a rock and rye friendly zone.
I've finally found a store near me that sells Diet Rock and Rye, and it made my week. It is now my official victory Faygo. Whenever City gets the full 3 points, I stop on the way home and pick up a Faygo. And that's because they're the party pop and have been in Detroit.
Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. We're in the 16th minute. No score here. Detroit City FC and FC Indiana. DCFC coming in on a 6-match winning streak, looking to keep the roll going. FC Indiana, a mark of 1 win, 7 losses, and 1 draw. They're looking to break their streak.
They are indeed, but they're having trouble here early. City dominating possession through the first 16 minutes. And the fun part about this is because FC Indiana is in a 4-1-4-1, and the only real forward man at any point is Bakayoko, the 2 center backs are staying with him. Hoskins is staying with him in the middle, as well as Zach Bach. The fullbacks have the freedom to run forward, and so Spencer Glass is running forward, and so they're able, Kervin Kenton is running forward. He's someone who can get forward in attack and set up service. And so when you have that type of a situation, you have the extra bodies in midfield, and that's why City's been able to kind of tilt the field toward the FC Indiana goal. I wouldn't be surprised if I were Eric Castro, if perhaps during the second half you might commit a second man forward just to make City's back line respected, because right now there is no respect from the fullbacks, and it's giving City a possession advantage.
4-1-4-1, not to be confused with Mary J. Blige's 4-1-1.
You know, I'll tell you what, Mary J and I, we're not that tight. I have no idea the song you just referenced. I'm also dating myself and maybe looking old and out of touch.
Well, it's funny because I feel the same way bringing the song up. I'm probably dating myself and feeling old. There's a takeaway by Adam Spinks. Spinks with a head of steam goes to the turf. The official says play on, and the throw-in awarded to FC Indiana.
And that's a good decision. Spinks blew a tire. Little bump there, but nothing you'd blow the whistle over. And Roddy Green, of course, giving a statutory appeal to the referee from behind. But really, Adam Spinks just blew a tire. But look at Odom there. That's a beautiful ball for Rice.
That ball sent into the box. That was a dangerous opportunity before it was played away.
Wow, Steven Munoz coming in to make that interception. An unselfish play by Odom to lay it off. And if it weren't for a hard-charging defender, that's an easy tap-in, and it's 1-0 City. And we see the smoke come from the Northern Guard.
Dave Ebertson gives chase through the midfield, but it is settled down. Now here comes Sang Suongo on the attack, but right away it's taken away from him. And now FC Indiana going to work again. Sang Suongo plays it into the box, and that ball was touched over the line. But FC Indiana, John, with a bit of pressure here.
Yeah, a bit of pressure, but the thing I'm impressed with there is that City's fullbacks, after spending most of the first 18 minutes forward, getting back and immediately tracking back in defense and clearing their lines. That's what you're supposed to do as a defender. You'll give away a throw-in all day, but you don't want to let that ball get centered on goal.
Certainly you do not. That is the goal. As we saw over in the box, Jared Blea just hit the turf for no apparent reason, fishing for the PK.
Hit and hope.
Yep. No dice, Jim Rice says. The referee crew here tonight. Almost to the 20th minute. Detroit City FC looking to build some possession here at Keyworth Stadium. The club's going up on a Tuesday. Special edition of Tuesday night DCFC soccer.
And we're on Tuesday in the 20th minute, and that means at the top of your screen, nothing wrong with the vertical hold. It's Tetris from the Northern Guard.
Absolutely. FC Indiana with some possession. That ball touched away by Spencer Glass. Roddy Green steps up.
Nice aggressive play by Green to step in there and take that ball, and then an even smarter play, even though it's a turnover and FC Indiana takes it. Roddy Green knew enough not to go in against 2 defenders. He was looking for help to set something up, and in midfield like that, you don't want to take the lash that ends up over the bar. You want to set something up. That's a heads-up play by Roddy Green to try to start something.
Owen Hoskins escorts it to the starting keeper here tonight, Fernando Pena. So that play at its onset looked promising for FC Indiana. It was a 5v5, but nothing comes of it. That ball swung out to the right side. Adam Spinks gives it chase. Throw in again for FC Indiana. And John, right now, not a lot of construction of offense. I'm talking about tic-tac-toe passing and really matriculating the ball down the field. Plays a little bit choppy right now.
It is, but you know what? Part of that for City is that Penn Bierman has had to rotate the squad a little bit. It's not often that Derek Odom is passing to Spinks, and the fullback comes up and tries to, or the midfielder comes up and tries to make a play, okay? So Odom and Spinks may pass to each other on the training ground, but not necessarily on the match day pitch. As they get going, as they're allowed to be free and express themselves in midfield as they have been, those things will link up, and that pays dividends, and that's why we play football for 90 minutes. I think City will find their rhythm if they keep at it.
That foul will go against FC Indiana. Kevin Amizo, the guilty party. And we talked about he's been invited for some professional trials over in Germany. Their strong showing in the International Legacy Cup in Lafayette, Indiana this summer. So that just goes to show you, John, somebody is always watching.
And that's the fun part about the FC Indiana club down there. They've got clubs, both men and women, and at all different age levels, and they were able to bring over some international sides. The German side came over. Aside from the Mexican League, came over to play in the International Cup. They had a sold-out venue down there at the Legacy Sports Complex. And you know what? You talk about the grassroots growth of the game. That's part of it.
And here comes Elijah Rice with a touch, and it trickles into the back of the net. It's a goal for Detroit City. Elijah Rice strikes again.
Manifest destiny one more time for Elijah Rice. The easy tap in and comes from relative inactivity in midfield. But Elijah Rice, for the second straight home match at Keyworth, in the right place at the right time. And the best part about it, he beat the offside trap. And when that happened, all of a sudden it was 1v1 with Kyle Bouguet way too far out to make any kind of an impact. And once the flag stayed down, all that had to happen was the striker just put the nice little natural touch on the ball, and it's in the back of the net and trickles over the line, and City leads 1-0. There he is. Nice play on by Roddy Green to beat the offside trap, and coming in and making the run and sending it through is Rice.
Well, that's one of the easier ones. I got a feeling Elijah Rice has scored in his career, but as you said, tremendous setup by Roddy Green. That was just good touch. There's nothing more that can be said about it. DCFC out on the good foot. They have the 1-0 lead here in the 23rd minute.
And you know what? Sometimes in a game like this, we talked about not necessarily having a whole lot of flow. Sometimes an early game will open things up, because now FC Indiana, it's deja vu all over again, to borrow the baseball parlance from the great Yogi Berra. Now they've been in this situation before, and they're back to trying to chase the game. The problem with chasing the game in a 4-1-4-1, you can get out of sorts. There can be a lot of gaps in midfield like this one that allows for a ball up the wing, even though there's a whistle and play is stopped. And that'll create space for City's 4-3-3 to move into. And with FC Indiana having to chase the game, City has the opportunity to extend the lead.
On the Twitter check-in with the hashtag WatchCity, I like this one. From Duchess Taco tweets in, says, Instant Rice is at it again. I certainly do enjoy that. Let's take a look at our Grand Circus player profile. Each week, DCFC profiles a player new to Le Rouge, presented by Grand Circus, as Rice makes another run. And that ball played up and out. It was presented by Grand Circus this week. Take a look out for Derek Odom. Forward from Xavier University, was on the Big East All-Freshman team last year from Nottingham, England. Played for Nottingham Forest FC as a youth. And you can read the full Grand Circus player profile on DebtCityFC.com.
Notts Forest, a proud old
Here's Roddy Green with a right-footed strike, and it trickles just wide of the left post. And just like that, John, Detroit City pouring it on offensively.
Now they're buzzing, and that's what happens. You get the 1-0 lead, and you start moving, and all of a sudden space comes in, and you found your rhythm, and then you can play with a little bit of freedom. And Roddy Green, a one touch on the volley, comes through and makes Bouguet have to make a very good save. By all rights, could have been 2-0 just like that.
And we'll have another crack at it here with the corner. Served up on a line and headed up dangerously just outside the 6.
And then FC Indiana clears their lines.
It's a turn and burn situation as the pressure is hot and heavy. More Twitter check-ins. Dave Sabin with the hashtag WatchCity checking in from Philly and busting out the Twitter vibes early tonight. And this is developing because David Sabin on Twitter, he sent this about 3 minutes before the goal happened. And as you know, John, he's developed quite a track record for calling the goals, and he strikes again here this week.
I tell you what, could he give me some lottery numbers?
Absolutely. We're certainly gonna be picking your brain to see what's going on. Sean Furlong checks in, says, I'll take a Faygo cream soda and 3 points. So DCFC with a 1-0 lead. Donnie Norris checking in, watching from North Carolina.
I also like Sean Furlong with the hashtag Watch City. He was doing the Tetris right along with the Northern Guard.
And here comes FC Indiana on the return action, and a good defensive play made by Kervin Kent. I believe it was Bakayoko who was the factor inside the box.
You know what? And he went down for the 3rd time tonight in the area. He's trying to draw a penalty. And the problem with that is that's going to stick in the referee's mind. If he thinks you've gone over easy one too many times, then if you are fouled in the area and taken down, you've built yourself a bit of a reputation. He hits the turf again.
I mean, that was just a stiff breeze that blew. That's incredible.
Yeah, when you are a young side and when you are going up against some more physical players, and he's trying to go in and do what he can for his team. But when you get the reputation is going to ground a little easy, it can sometimes hurt you later in the game if indeed you are actually taken down, because your reputation will precede you.
So you're saying it damages your street cred with the officials?
It eradicates it, and soccer referees know this. They're trained to watch it, and they remember. Just like they remember accumulation of tackles for a yellow card, they remember players going to ground easy. And there's Mehdi Himic going to ground again. It's been a lot of going to ground for FC Indiana players early, and so far the man in the middle not buying tonight.
Munoz skips that shot in on frame, but Fernando Pena up to the task, as he has been here tonight. Has yet to be really seriously challenged in the 28th minute.
No, but the mark of a good keeper, Neil, is that when he was challenged, even the minor challenges, the corner that he parried out well clear of the area, the back pass that he punted over the center line, the early shot that he went down to his right to make the save to the post. The mark of a good keeper is when the pitch is tilted in favor of your attack and the counter attack comes back at you. You're still able to get down and make the save. You're still in the game. You never leave it, because a team like FC Indiana tonight, lining up the way they are and already down 1-0, they're trying to nick a point and score on the counter. And so it's going to be incumbent upon Pena to keep himself engaged and in the game. And I like the fact, we don't see it on the camera right now, but he's all the way out between his area and the center circle. He's out, he's engaged, he'll track back there, but you see him standing in the middle of the pitch. He wants to be close and he wants to be in on the action, and he's staying focused, and that's good against a team that wants to beat you on the counter.
Now Detroit City FC plays it on their own side of midfield. The captain, Dave Edwardson, with it. And they will look to build up possession one more time. There's Zach Bach in that familiar left back spot. Long pass served up, nobody home for LaRouge. Now the ball matriculates through midfield, but a whistle and a foul goes against DCFC.
And then Bakayoko goes over to the official and is asking why several other fouls haven't been called, and he's dismissed rather quickly with the admonishment to get back to the game. I'm really impressed with City's center backs right now. 2 center backs, 1 center back, staying with Bakayoko no matter where he is on the pitch, and not allowing him in that 4-1-4-1 to get any space. And that gives City's fullbacks so much freedom to move forward, and we've seen the benefits here through the first 29 minutes.
Elijah Rice, the target of that long outlet, and Rice settles it down.
That's a handball.
Oh, Rice is going to get hit with the foul, and I think you're right, partner. That was a very apparent handball, but instead parlayed into an Elijah Rice foul.
You know, I never like to second guess officials. It's tough enough being out there as the man in the middle, but that's right there. I think off the arm of the FC Indiana player. Maybe the referee could say off the chin, but I was surprised City wasn't given a free kick.
Roddy Green settles it down. Boy, sharp pass from Green again. His passing game has been on point. Spencer Glass turns, left foot shot. Ball is loose, shot again by Rice. This time the keeper Bouguet makes a save. And that was a great save by Bouguet, keeping this a 1-0 DCFC lead.
The beautiful part about that, Neil, Glasses wasn't a shot. He saw Rice in on a run. That was a good crisp pass. He was trying to find Rice, and he came through trying to play it for the one-touch redirection, and Rice almost got home.
Boy, Rice And it's funny, John, because you say, why does the ball always seem to find Elijah Rice? He's just a lucky guy, right?
Well, you know what? He's a hard worker, and the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Right.
And Elijah Rice is a very hard worker in the attacking third. The thing about Elijah Rice, and the thing that will help City here in the NPSL, he's always trying to play just off the defender and then get to that point. The 4-3-3 allows you to play a ball into space. You're playing to a spot, okay? Instead of trying in the 4-1-4-1 that FC Indiana is running, where they're trying to play it into Bakayoko's feet and give him the ball and then let him go. City's forward line is trying to play to a space, which is why sometimes you'll see passes go errant, and it looks like there's a miscommunication. And Elijah Rice will play right off that defender and then try to get into that place, kind of like a wide receiver putting it, giving his quarterback a target where only the wide receiver is going to make the catch. And when Rice continues to do that, it frustrates the center backs, and they start to press, and he has more and more opportunities.
The next 15 minutes of action brought to you by Phoenix House, the official building partner of Detroit City FC. Make sure you stick around at halftime. Our sideline reporter Lindsey Pearson will be joining head coach Ben Pierman, get his thoughts on the first 45 minutes of play. Nice to be happy so far. They got the 1-0 lead here as just about 32 minutes off the clock. That long ball served in, but again, 2 DCFC defenders in the neighborhood. And there we see some good work done by Adam Spinks, who was beat, but then flipped the script.
The essential part of a 4-3-3 is that your midfielders also have to track back. That the midfielders really go box to box. Spinks coming back there, playing his part on the defensive end of things, doing really well to try to break up the passing lanes. And look at Derek Odom taking on 3 FC Indiana players and still managing to pass it into space. Heads up play by number 33.
Dave Everton taken down from behind. And
that's a booking.
And the yellow card is out.
Out you come.
And Mehdi Himic was animated from Jump Street there as soon as the whistle sounded, but even before the whistle sounded. He was already animated, and John, was that a situation where maybe the theatrics contributed to the yellow card decision?
Yep, absolutely, because one of 2 things happen. Either it's Hemic, well, one of 3 things. Either the tackle, which I'm not quite sure was as serious as it could have been, the theatrics that could have gotten him booked for dissent, or an accumulation of play, because Hemic has been on the turf several times, he's been physical several times, and referees keep count. And the little nibbling tackles add up, and eventually they'll go in the books.
Now FC Indiana trying to mount some kind of offensive attack. Bakayoko has a possession. Now with the right foot, Suwongo tries the left side. Settled down by Amaizo. And that will be a penalty.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it there.
Yep.
As Mehdi Himic taken down, Cyrus Sadie shaking his head. But as you said, John, that was a justified penalty called. And FC Indiana, and now Cyrus Sadie will be hit with a yellow card as well. FC Indiana with a prime opportunity to try to tie this game up.
And you know what? It could have been red, because when he dragged him back, it was almost 1v1. It could have been denial of a goal scoring opportunity. Cyrus not happy with the booking, but it could have been Cyrus off for denial of a goal scoring opportunity. The only thing that helped him is that the player never went down.
Kevin Amaizo has a goal this season for FC Indiana, looking for his second. Fernando Pena, we will see if he is up to the challenge here in the 35th minute.
Making himself big.
All eyes on Fernando Pena, the keeper. Amaizo lines it up. And a big-time save made by Fernando Pena. He closes the door on the penalty kick.
Pena-monium here at Keyworth. Well done, young man. That is a beautiful play. He was in Amaizo's head. Jumping around there, struck well, but struck in a bad place, didn't get down toward the corners. Unless you're trying the little Panenka chip and you think that the keeper is going to dive one way or the other immediately, you don't want to put it in on the keeper's body. And Pena got in the head of Amaizo, struck well, but not struck in a good place. And now a ball thrown away and out of play, and another referee on another day might have issued a booking for time wasting.
Well, the corner, yeah, it's because the corner's coming into play.
Okay, they gave the corner there.
Yep. Fernando Pena announces his presence with authority here in his first match of the season. Slams the door shut, but they're not out of the woods yet. The corner served up. Now headed away. It's settled down by Henry Ramirez.
Also smart by Pena on that penalty attempt as the ball kept in play.
That ball will go all the way through, and Pena makes the grab and holds on.
Oh, that's a heck of a save. Listen, it looks innocuous. He went down and played the skidding ball, but to get down that low, when you had to go basically stick to make that save and get down to clear it out and clear it away, that is a veteran save and a bit of a diamond in the rough here for City. In Pena making his first Detroit City FC start. Fernandinho Bueno.
That foul will go against Ronnie Green. Fernando Pena showing why he was on the U.S. men's national U17 team in a goalkeeping capacity. A big-time play by him, still 1-0 DCFC. And what is a huge match in what's become a championship chase for Le Rouge.
If you're just joining us, by the way, you can chat with Neil and I using the hashtag #WatchCity. You're also watching a club that is one of the hottest in American soccer right now. 6 wins on the spin, trying to go for lucky number 7 tonight.
Ronnie Green has the ball taken away. And that cross sent in. But it's played out by Zach Bach. Zach Bach, very sharp. Sansuongo has been very dangerous here as of late.
Zach Bachville right there up to the task and marking his man. They were again trying to play it into the feet of the striker Bakayoko. And that's the difference. When you have to play it in and your striker doesn't necessarily go looking for the ball, it allows the center backs to step in, mark, and disrupt the passing lanes. And Zach Bach with a textbook display of how to do that there.
Another corner sent in for FC Indiana. That ball will go off Spencer Glass. We'll try it again from the other side this time. So through all this, Pena made the tremendous save on the PK, but John, certainly FC Indiana has had some sustained pressure and some dangerous opportunities.
You know what? The FC Indiana guys have kind of found their legs here a little bit. And I'm really impressed with Pena and the way he's claimed his area, but also early unsung hero honors going to the City center backs. And look at Pena again, calling through traffic, and look at that punt. That is a great punt.
And here comes Rice on the move. Elijah Rice again goes around the keeper, the shot, and the save is made by the defender, Steven Munoz. The last line of defense saves the day for FC Indiana.
You know what? And that was very close. Rice came in, and the keeper got the ball about the same time. And Elijah Rice, because he's an honest man, stayed on his feet. If he bundles over the way FC Indiana has gone over, it makes the referee make a decision. And a referee on certain days might have pointed to the spot. Look, he's being checked, had to push off a man, and he was impeded with. And I'll tell you what, City almost made this 2-0.
And that corner is headed up over top of the bar. That service was definitely on target. I believe that was Owen Hoskins that was the target, as Hoskins will trot back to the defensive line. So Hoskins that close to making it 2-0. So John, you look at the way that this game has gone. We talked about how it was choppy in the first 20+ minutes. It certainly has opened up over the course of the last 10.
It has. Well, that's what the first goal does. It basically galvanizes you. It galvanizes City as the team in attack. It galvanizes FC Indiana as having to chase the game a little bit. And so it kind of opens up because you settle into rhythms. When it's 0-0 and you're trying to figure each other out and you're waiting to see who gets that first goal, there can sometimes be that moment where you don't want to make the first mistake and you're trying to play back and forth and see who's going to get the opening. Now City got the opening, and then Pena makes the save to deny the equalizer. So now we're end to end. And now FC Indiana is sitting down to the task that they have, and City can try and counter off of that and play the way they want to play.
Bouguet off the header, and his defender Munoz scoops it up, gives it a couple of bounces to the turf before he sends it skyward with that right boot.
And I'm betting the punt will not be on the order of Pena, although it's pretty decent. The problem with it, it's too high and not really directed anywhere, and it allows City to go right back on the counter. And if it weren't for a deflection there, you had Roddy Green making a run on the backside that could have been very dangerous.
Roddy Green giving chase defensively. But boy, some nifty two-man work by FC Indiana, stepping through and ripping the shot with the right foot. For FC Indiana is Henry Ramirez. Now Ramirez is on the El Salvador U20 national team, recently received an invitation to the full national team camp. So you look at FC Indiana on paper and you see the record and you say, all right, this should just be a kickabout. There are some parts in place.
Sure, absolutely. It's also worth noting that part of the reason their record is what they are is something we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. In age, they are, most of them, younger than a lot of the City players. They are playing in the NPSL because Chris Castro and his brother Eric Castro, they want to toughen these guys up. They want to give them a look against stronger opposition because they believe that the key to furthering their careers is toughening them up early and getting them used to this type of game. El Salvador, a lot of the areas in the Caribbean part of CONCACAF are easy feeder grounds now to MLS. You see a lot of players from CONCACAF coming into MLS. And so to be able to toughen up against the American game and also to play against older kids is something the scouts will look at. And so that's kind of the mission of where FC Indiana is right now.
The official sports medicine provider of DCFC, the Henry Ford Health Systems, out there on the field tending to Mehdi Himic. And now Himic will limp off the pitch. We'll see if he stays.
Well, he has to. He has to come off because he was
right. We'll see if he stays
attention
in the game, right?
Yeah. Well, he's jogging already. He'll have the magic spray, and somebody will tap him on the shin, and he'll be back in about 10 seconds.
And the fans giving him a little bit of the business right now. Some boos raining down. Mehdi Himic, though, he wears it well, man. He'd be a good heel wrestler, man. He does a good job of that.
He does. He is certainly an attention grabber out there, and he's trying to grab the referee's attention and draw some thought. And look, he's back on the pitch. Everything's fine. Nothing is wrong here.
Long ball served up. Bakayoko settles it down. FC Indiana looking to go to work again. That pass is knocked down, and turning with it is Adam Spinks.
See, but Spinks sent that ball immediately up the wing and didn't pick up his head to see if there was anyone there to receive the pass. And if it wasn't for a hard bounce off a shin, FC Indiana would have been right back at City there. You have to, if you're going to make that kind of play, pick your head up and see where people
Green
are.
with the takeaway. Elijah Rice, and the goalkeeper Bouguet makes a diving, sprawling save. And boy, Bouguet once again keeps it 1-0. Elijah Rice, John, finding some joy right now on the attack. Everything but the finish.
Well, first of all, he's beating the center backs. He's staying right with them and then beating the offside trap, okay? Second of all, he comes in and it's one palm and one fingertip just to get him out of his rhythm. Bouguet's playing with fire. If he does that again, he might get burned.
Roddy Green with the turn and burn sends it down the field, and Bouguet will go in the corner and track it down. 44 minutes in the books. 1-0 Detroit City FC with the lead. Elijah Rice in the 23rd minute has provided the difference with a beautiful setup from Roddy Green. And that is where we sit.
You know, it's interesting. I'll be interested to hear what Ben Pierman will say at halftime with Lindsey Pearson. I have a feeling, knowing Caesar, it'll be something like, we're glad to get the goal and we've had some good touches, but we've been stagnant at times and need to be better with our passes and not allowing FC Indiana space on the counter. And that's what we see here, but a nice job by the center backs again to clear it out. If I'm Ben Pierman, I like the fact that I have a lead, but you can be even crisper. He's going to want to get the second or the third and put these 3 points to bed and get ready for the Stars on Friday.
Cyrus Sadie has it taken away. Sang Suwango does the deed. Long pass across the pitch, very easily intercepted by Kervin Kenton. FC Indiana will look to go to work again on the right side. We haven't seen a lot of right side build-up from FC Indiana. It's pretty much been on the left side, and there Owen Hoskins flat out eliminates Bakayoko. And the foul will be called. So, John, this is another dangerous spot for FC Indiana.
You know what, though? And that's Owen Hoskins going a little too strong. He didn't need to go in that strong to beat Bakayoko. He had position to go in and try to play smart against Bakayoko. And he gives away the free kick just outside the area. And you're inside stoppage time in the first half. It can completely change the team talk.
Ball sent into the box, and Elijah Rice turns and spins. He's 1-on-3, but it doesn't matter. Elijah Rice is off to the races. Rice 1v1 around the keeper.
That's a penalty.
Down, and the foul will be called, and it happened outside of the box, but a red card has been issued to Kyle Bouguet.
That's no question. You know what? And he initiated contact outside the area, which is why it's not a penalty. Good spot that it was just about a yard outside. But that's a denial of the goal-scoring opportunity, and he's saying Bouguet had no opportunity to play on the ball. And if you go in and you don't get the ball down on a challenge like that, you're going to be sent off. And it is clear he went down. No real attempt to play on the ball, and a denial of the goal-scoring opportunity. Look at that. He challenges.
It's a tackle. It's an open field tackle.
Yeah, he didn't even try to play the ball. He was just playing the man, and that is a good decision by our referee tonight. A denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, last man in breakaway, and it's man down for FC Indiana, and Bouguet can have no argument. And that should leave it up to Enrique Orozco to come in and be the backup keeper. But already in that 4-1-4-1 for FC Indiana, with Bakayoko pretty much isolated up front, City will have even more joy through midfield and in the attacking third.
Boy, Bouguet with an open field tackle that would have made Lawrence Taylor blush. As Rice was taken down, so Bouguet has been shown the door. And as you said, Enrique Orozco, the backup keeper, will be inserted. We'll see who comes off for FC Indiana. Let's see, who do we got? And through all this, not only will it relegate FC Indiana to 10 men, but this is a very dangerous free kick opportunity for Elijah Rice.
And it's going to be the first action that Orozco sees. He's going to have to position his wall.
Bakayoko will be the one that comes out.
So Bakayoko comes out. It'll be interesting to see how FC Indiana line up now. They've pulled their forward away. He wasn't really getting any joy. Be interesting to see what kind of a formation FC Indiana go with. Perhaps forward to back, 4-1, 3-1.
Enrique Orozco, who plays in the MASL with the Syracuse Silver Knights. So usually an indoor soccer keeper by trade. Will be manning the pipes here at Keyworth Stadium, and he walks into a hornet's nest. His side is down to 10 men, and Elijah Rice is standing over. Right-footed blast, and the save is made by Orozco.
That's a textbook way to set up your defense. He was basically saying, the wall take one side, I'll take the other. And Rice obviously either didn't strike it well enough or was trying just to beat Orozco low to the post. And when you're the keeper and you can cut the net in half, it's a lot easier to get down and make that save. But still, City with the advantage as we go into halftime as the whistle blows.
45 minutes of play in the books. And Detroit City FC will go to the locker room with a 1-0 lead. But maybe more importantly than that, will go to the halftime locker room with their opponent having 10 men on the field. Kyle Bouguet sent off as he tackled Elijah Rice on a opportunity that almost certainly would have been a goal. So John, as you put it back together, I mean, if you're Bouguet, yeah, you got sent off. Yeah, your side's down to 10 men, but you did stop a goal.
Yeah, and I think he was taking a look at it and saying Elijah Rice had a head of steam and would have gotten around me, and there was nobody on the backside to clear it off the line. That is as close to a professional foul as you can get. But really, that was that end attack that saw the keeper sent off, really was the culmination of 3 of those that saw him make fingertip saves to keep Elijah Rice from adding a second. And so you're right, a professional foul. But the thing of it is, yes, you did you did keep a goal off the board. It is still 1-0, but you've also hampered your team, handicapped your team with the fact that City will now be able to send the fullbacks even further forward. And you've had to bring off Bakayoko, your forward attacking threat. And so now you're going to have to play in a different way than you've played for a lot of the season with your backup keeper already in. And I don't see how FC Indiana, even though they're only down 1-0, has the firepower from what we saw in the first half to make a comeback and get a point or 3.
Let's send it down to our sideline reporter, Lindsay Pearson, standing by with Coach Pearman. Lindsay.
Thanks, Neil. Coach, a lot of action there in the first half. How would you assess your team's performance?
Not good.
And what about Pena, coming on, making his debut and making that save?
Yeah, big time. If we didn't have, 90 seconds into the game, he has to save one. He saved a penalty, caught a good cross. If without him, we should be down. We should be losing. We don't deserve to be winning.
What can you fix in the first half there?
Everything. Ball speed's terrible. Our just general approach is off. Very worried about this game going into it. Third game in 5 days, but it's the way the league's set up. It's the way games go. They all knew it. Half these guys are fresh. We didn't approach this right. They're taking it to us on our own field. We should be embarrassed.
Thanks, Coach. Neil, back to you.
So head coach Ben Pearman with some very stern, some very strong words through the first 45 minutes of play. I do want to remind everyone, DCFC is winning by the score of 1-0. So if you just checked in during the halftime interview, they are winning, rest assured.
Well, I thought he'd be critical. We were talking about that. I thought he would be critical. I didn't think he'd be that critical.
So 45 minutes in the books. Elijah Rice with a goal in the 23rd minute. That is the difference right now. Detroit City FC with a 1-0 lead. We'll take our halftime break, come back, get you the second half of action. We'll be right back. 1-0, City with the lead.
Now through June 30th, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers will be collecting donations for their favorite animal charities during their Pickups for Paws event.
Oh, not right now, girl.
Stop by your nearest Metro Detroit Chevy dealer and drop off much-needed items from the charity wish list. Together, we can help our furry friends who can't help themselves. They will be forever grateful.
DTE Energy is committed to giving back. So DTE employees volunteer thousands of hours, working in over 450 communities, with more than 280 charities across Michigan. Why? Because we don't just deliver energy. We want to empower people in the communities where we live and serve. DTE Energy. Know your own power.
I love helping people get what they need. So when you order with ClickList from Kroger,
I make sure you get everything you ask for, just the way you like it.
Whole organic milk? Done.
2 ripe bananas and 1 green.
And today's fresh bread? Got it.
With ClickList, I'm your personal shopper, so you can trust me to pick out exactly what you want, bagged and ready for when you arrive.
Try ClickList at a Kroger near you. Order online, pick up curbside at store, with same-day pickup now available. Visit Kroger.com/ClickList.
I want to blend my business education and athletic skills and open my own fitness center. At Lawrence Tech, I'm learning how to research, present, and to really think like an entrepreneur. And I love the small college feel here, where there's always something to do. We have men's and women's intercollegiate sports and dozens of student organizations. I can't wait to apply what I'm learning here in the real world. Lawrence Tech. Possible is everything.
You guys are ready! Oh, you guys are ready!
Ticket, please.
Of course, I got it right here.
There's nothing there.
It's loading. It takes a little bit.
Just give me like a minute, guys.
Here's my ticket. It's starting. Mine works.
Bob realized his network coverage was a no-show. That's why he switched to Metro PCS, because he figured out he gets a network that's more reliable than ever, covering 99% of people in the U.S. Switch now and get 2 lines for only $50 period, plus 2 free Samsung Galaxy phones. Metro PCS, wireless.
We're a 4-year-old company, but we've just moved to the city about a year ago, and we renovated an old stamping plant here in Detroit. And we're focused, and our mission is to create and design super efficient homes and urban infill buildings using the methodology of Passive House, and package that into a pre-built shell that's made here in Detroit. And we're allowing to do different creative designs, again, for single-family urban infills made in the shop in Detroit here. Everything we take is from design to rough frame to putting the layers on in the shop. So we actually create the wall panels here in Detroit in our shop. We load them up on that fancy trailer, and then we ship them out to the site like we did today. We discovered DCFC was about early or late last year, and we didn't have our building squared away yet last year, so really wanted to come on strong with you guys this year and just really be a supporter of the team. With your new move, that's fantastic, and be able to help any way we can, which we thought was kind of a creative use, is just to have a way to have something outside. So we're excited to be here with your new stadium this year. So today we're putting together the prefab shell. It's consisting of wall panels, roof panels that we made prefab in the shop. And so everything's pre-insulated. It comes with some siding and a weather-tight layer. So that's what we're working on today to get that wrapped up and weather-tight today. Some of the science we've baked into these panels, into the roof design and details, is extra thickness for extra insulation, which allows us to have a higher R value and something that we call thermal bridge-free detailing. So everything is going to be what we call super insulated and airtight, and we're able to do that on these walls and roof panels that we've pre-built in the shop. It's going to be good. It's been a couple weeks here preparing. We're really excited. All the guys are actually pretty excited. I saw them taking snapshots with their phones and stuff, but it'll feel good to see when it's all wrapped up, it's weather tight, people can go buy their merchandise.
My passion is architecture. I don't want to sit around passively studying. I need to create. In our architecture studios at Lawrence Tech, we collaborate with students, faculty, and professionals from around the world. And from day one, we design using the same industry standard software that architecture firms use. I really feel like I'm designing my own future here. Lawrence Tech, possible is everything.
Now through June 30th, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers will be collecting donations for their favorite animal charities during their Pickups for Paws event.
Oh, not right now, girl.
Stop by your nearest Metro Detroit Chevy dealer and drop off much-needed items from the charity wish list. Together, we can help our furry friends who can't help themselves. They will be forever grateful.
DTE Energy is committed to giving back. So DTE employees volunteered thousands of hours, working in over 450 communities, with more than 280 charities across Michigan. Why? Because we don't just deliver energy, we want to empower people in the communities where we live and serve. DTE Energy. Know your own power.
I love helping people get what they need. So when you order with ClickList from Kroger,
I make sure you get everything you ask for, just the way you like it.
Whole organic milk? Done.
2 ripe bananas and 1 green.
And today's fresh bread? Got it.
with ClickList, I'm your personal shopper, so you can trust me to pick out exactly what you want, bagged and ready for when you arrive.
Try ClickList at a Kroger near you. Order online, pick up curbside at store with same-day pickup now available. Visit Kroger.com/ClickList.
Back to historic Keyworth Stadium. 1-0 Detroit City FC with the lead. A goal in the 23rd minute by Elijah Rice. As we get ready to roll things back out here for the second half of action. And as we continue with our Metro PCS halftime report, let's take a look at the stats through the first 45 minutes of play. 9 shots for LaRouge compared to 4 by FC Indiana. FC Indiana, though, John, with an edge in the corners department. 7 saves, though, for Detroit City FC, and that's what has Ben Pierman, the head coach for LaRouge, agitated.
And he should be, because as he rightly said, the Pena, between the 6'4" City, has had to work a little harder than he'd like. I didn't think he was going to be that critical, but you take a look at the fact that City have dominated possession, and yet the shots on target, forget the shots number, the shots on target, 4 and 4 against a team that's really going against you only on the counter is a little worrying for Ben Pierman, but he does have a lead to play with.
As you see down there in the right corner of the screen, the starting goalkeeper for FC Indiana, Kyle Bouguet, scooped up a red card in the 45th minute when he made an open field tackle against Elijah Rice, who was on a clear scoring opportunity. So FC Indiana will play the entirety of the second half with 10 men. As we take a look at the particulars from the first 45 minutes of play and the highlights from the game. First 20 minutes of this match, John, very choppy, but business picked up a little bit later on.
They did, and look at Derek Odom in there making a great play against 2 defenders. And early on, City applying some pressure from all sides. Great feather touch there for Elijah Rice. He was busy all half.
He certainly was, but unfortunately for Detroit City FC, so was Fernando Pena, the starting keeper for LaRouge. But there you see the goal by Elijah Rice to give the 1-0 lead, and then that man Fernando Pena kept it with the stop of the penalty early in the first half of play that happened right after. And here we take a look at another opportunity by Elijah Rice. He's been a one-man wrecking crew here today.
That could have been a free kick just outside the area, and the one highlight we didn't have a chance to get to there was the highlight of the red card that saw the starting keeper Bouguet sent off. It was much like those 2 plays with Elijah Rice, coming in 1v1 and the goalkeeper having to come out and make a decision, and finally a professional foul sent off. Look, the easy choice for man of the match right now would be Elijah Rice. He's been great on the offensive end of things, but hard consideration has to be given among the DCFC crew that make the decision for man of the match to Pena in goal, keeping this a 1-0 lead for City and allowing Elijah Rice to continue to do what he's been doing all night.
So Elijah Rice will get things cracking for the second 45. The first 15 minutes of the second half are brought to you by Metro PCS, the official wireless provider of Detroit City FC. DCFC. So Elijah Rice will get things going. A lot of talk on Twitter, and you can send us tweets with your thoughts of tonight's match with the hashtag WatchCity. We'll be getting to those, and Ben Pierman's comments during the halftime interview with our sideline reporter Lindsey Pearson, drawing a lot of fire, as you would expect. And also we have a Twitter check-in. These are always my favorite. Cameron Marshall said, "I'm watching City from an airplane." And he sent a picture of himself up in the plane. Those are always my favorite. Love it when people are watching the game in a plane. Abby's name checked in on Twitter as well from her new home in Mobile, Alabama.
I love that we're being checked in with from all over the country. And by the way, our good friend NGS Louisville wanted another discussion of founder of NGS's Kilton Ken's beard. We discussed it in the Battle of the Beards last week on the broadcasts, and he wanted it mentioned again, and so I bow to the beard father.
Absolutely.
Kilton Ken.
I still have Josh Rogers at the top of my beard power rankings,
No,
but
I'm
it's
on
always
Team Ken.
fluid. It's always fluid, and it's always up for debate, and that's something we'll check in next broadcast for sure. So Detroit City FC now with that man advantage the rest of the way. Cyrus Sadie playing with a yellow card. We'll send it back to Zach Bach. Zach Bach, the first-team All-MAC performer last year at Western Michigan. Bach's dad played on the University of Michigan football team back in 1986. Now here comes Elijah Rice again, turning the Jets on, and a diving stop made by Enrique Orozco. So Orozco, the backup, the last keeper on deck for FC Indiana here tonight.
And from the looks of it, that's not the same kit that his outfield players are wearing. I think there might have had to been a shirt switch, because it doesn't look like the same shirt sponsor or the same material as the rest of the outfield players. That's what happens perhaps when you're not expecting your starting keeper to get sent off for a professional foul. It also is sometimes what happens in emergency situations away in lower tier leagues in the United States. I was interested to see what kind of formation FC Indiana would come out with at the beginning of the second half. They took off Bakayoko, but they have stayed with an up-front man. They've just moved to 3 midfielders, and so filling the up-front role now for them is Sengsuwango. He'll take the forward role, and he'll be the man in the box for FC Indiana. They're going with 3 midfielders, so the formation still 4-1 in the back. Still a back 5 to go against this potent City attack, but now it's 3-1, 3 midfielders, and Sengsuwango, the point man up front.
Image plays that one out wide to the right side. Here comes Henry Ramirez on the move with it. So FC Indiana building some possession. Himmich, the target, just out of his reach. It's played high and away by Adam Spinks.
And that's a weak side midfielder run. When you're having Sengsuwango is much more willing than Bakayoko to come out of the box and track for a ball. And he was able to come in and handle that. And so when the front man is handling the ball, your weak side midfielder, or the midfielder on the opposite side of where the ball is being played, is going to start and go and make that run toward the back post. Sometimes that kind of play will see the offside flag raised. In that situation, it was a well-timed run, and Himmich had a moment, but nothing came of it.
Kent with the pressure. That was Kevin Amazo that had that shot opportunity on frame that Fernando Pena grabbed a little difficulty. And that ball played up the left side, but again, backtracking is Owen Hoskins, and we're going to see a lot of this, John, with FC Indiana down the 10 men. There's just going to be a lot of hopeful balls sent up top. You're down 1-0, and unfortunately, there's really nothing else in the playbook.
Hoof and hope, and as I'm looking back toward the City attacking third, that back 4 is so tightly packed. City with a lot of joy down the wings, and they're using it right now for Elijah Rice.
Elijah Rice, the target. That ball played out. I believe that was Benjamin Zamora starting the second half for FC Indiana.
And this is how you know you have City with a physical and tactical advantage. FC Indiana know that City are running 3 attackers at them, and they know they'll go down the wings, but they don't have the pace, and they've been beaten so often in the middle of the pitch tonight that they have to keep that back 4 tightly packed together in front of the area. The problem with that is that City have the pace to beat the offside trap, play the ball down the wings, and send service in like that.
Elijah Rice swings it out. Spencer Glass steps in the shot and puts it in the back of the net. Off the bounce, Spencer Glass deposits it in the right side of the cage, and it's 2-0 City.
Spencer Glass golazo. Yes, sir. One touch. Touch, shot, goal.
Glass, a 4-star recruit at the University of Indiana, was a top 150 player in America coming out of high school, and it's for reasons like this here with the left foot.
This happens for two reasons. First of all, I think it's Odom that feeds the ball in on through. That's a beautiful ball in space. That's the 4-3-3, playing to a spot, playing to space. Glass stayed even with his defender until the ball was played with a beautifully timed run. He got into space in the area, had a great angle to shoot, was able to turn and get it on his favorite foot, and that's a beautiful, beautiful touch and a great strike. No chance for the keeper, but it started with City in midfield, forcing the back four to open up and allowing for the touch pass into space. That's what happens when you have the pace and physicality. You open up big holes like that for Spencer Glass.
A yellow card issued. Detroit City FC didn't catch the guilty party. Is it the captain, Dave Edwardson? I believe it is. So the captain goes into the books. 2-0 the score. Here comes Kervin Kenton, matriculating the ball up the field. Kenton taken down from behind. Jared Blea will be hit for the foul. And John, this could be a situation. Look, FC Indiana, and you have to give them a lot of credit. They fought the good fight in the first half. And they were a penalty away from squaring this match.
Hang on here, Neil.
And here comes up the left side, an opportunity, and on the run, Amaizo stepping over, stepping in with the shot. That ball is lifted wide of the left post. But again, FC Indiana coming in. They were a PK away from leveling this match in the first half. But they got a 1-7-1 record on the year. They're down to 10 men, down 2 goals. It's just a very, very steep uphill climb for the team in the red kits here tonight.
Sure, and also because you're down to 10 men, you're having to cover more field, cover more ground, you're having to run more, and you're having to go against pacey City players. It's also worth noting, as FC Indiana play a ball out of play for a throw, it's also worth noting that Spencer Glass scored that second goal for Detroit City FC. He's a fullback.
Right, and he was up on the attack.
He's coming forward. And remember, we talked about the fact that in the 4-1-4-1 or 4-1-3-1 now with the red card, because you only have the one front man, that's easily marked by Bach there in the center.
And he doesn't even have to move to do it.
No, because FC Indiana isn't tracking in. So now, with only one front man, here comes Spencer Glass, who we started to see move forward against Grand Rapids FC at the beginning of this run, saying, fine, I don't have to mark anyone. There's no midfielder running at me. They already have 3 midfielders. They don't have the pace to commit the holding midfielder forward. I'm going to go have a gallivant in the area and put on a strike. That wasn't a fullback strike, by the way. It was a heck of a touch. But it comes from the complete freedom that the fullbacks have had all night to be able to come forward on the wings because they haven't had to play defense.
Here's a corner upcoming, and folks, nobody in the soccer broadcasting business gets excited about the tactics like my man John Krieger does.
Especially when the tactics I'm talking about have led to 6 wins in a row and 2 to the good.
Knocking on the door of a 7th straight here tonight. 2-0, Detroit City with the lead. We're in the 54th minute. Neil Rule, John Krieger with you. Happy to have you along. Lindsey Pearson, our sideline reporter.
Lindsey Pearson gets hazard pay tonight. That may have been one of the greatest first questions in interview history. What's going right? What do you have to change? How do you feel? Everything is going wrong. It's just, I'll tell you what, as a sideline reporter, sometimes you get something like that. Credit to Lindsey, that was an all-star recovery because I didn't expect to hear that out of Ben Pierman's mouth. But whatever happened, the hairdryer treatment worked, and it's 2-0 to the good.
Absolutely. Ball played up the right side, but a very tough road.
Oh, look at Bach.
Indiana.
That is all Zach Bach saying, I'm stronger than you and you don't have a chance. I'm going to step in and muscle you off the ball.
And ball played up top looking for Cyrus Sadie. Here comes Cyrus Sadie, the magician. Turning down the line, and he's taken down from behind by Himmich.
Pull out your card, son.
Himmich doesn't like it.
That's a foul from behind, and if he doesn't see yellow...
Well, Himmich is already in the books for a yellow.
He ought to go off. He ought to be done. That's a tackle from behind with no attempt to play the ball, and the fourth official is over here to have a conversation. It ought to be 11 v 9, and if he stays on the pitch, he is the luckiest of lads. And he's getting the final warning talking to, but Ben Pierman is apoplectic, and he should be, because that was a studs-in tackle between the legs, and the only reason that he's still on the pitch is that the City player was honest and didn't take a tumble.
So Zach Bach will put the right boot to it, sends it up, curling towards the box, and it's flicked on and out, but this will be a corner for Detroit City FC. Now it's time for the weekly trivia, presented by Faygo. This week's question: what were the 3 original Faygo flavors? Now, we've thrown you some softballs over the last couple weeks. You have to be a Faygo savant.
That's a hard one.
To know this one. What were the 3 original Faygo flavors? We'll let that marinate for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and get you the answer.
I have a guess. Can I guess?
Yeah, you can guess all day as the corner is served up, and it's headed away.
I'm going to guess the original flavors. The City sends it in. I'm going to guess the original flavors, and I haven't looked at the answer, are cola, red pop,
you're wrong.
And
so
rock and rye.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong?
You were wrong after the first answer.
Oh, no.
Some physical play there. Zach Bach was mixing it up with Henry Ramirez. Ramirez called for that foul. I just didn't want you to embarrass yourself any further, John. When you got the first one wrong, I'm sorry, my friend.
I'm sorry. My broadcast partner throwing shade.
Which is easy for me to say because I have the answer in front of me. And here comes Elijah Rice. He's had a lot of answers here tonight for Detroit City.
Oh, Pena, no. Well, he went down to handle that ball on the edge of his area. Now, I know he had a defender there. Let your defender marshal that away. You've got a linesman who's running. All of a sudden, he waves the flag, and you're off for handling outside the area. That was very close.
That ball is played up. Here's Blea with it. Blea stepping through. That was some good footwork by Blea. And his pass to Ramirez is played out. Let's take a look at our upcoming matches. Of course, we'll be back at it right here at Keyworth on Friday, June 30th, as the Michigan Stars will make the short trip down to Hamtramck. Then Friday, July 7th, at Keyworth again. AFC Ann Arbor. You think that one will be any good as that ball is punched out with the right hand by Fernando Pena. Do you think that match, as that ball is put in the back of the net, but the whistle and the stoppage before that. So circle your calendars for Friday, July 7th. DCFC in Ann Arbor right here at Keyworth. And then, of course, a week later, Lansing United come calling. It's a back-loaded schedule here with some huge home matches at Keyworth.
Tickets still available, and also don't forget there's that friendly on July 18th that is once league play is concluded against Venezia coming in, a part of the Strategic Staffing Solutions International Series. So a lot of football to be played here at Keyworth. Real Friday night lights.
No question about it. Of course, here tonight, club going up on a Tuesday.
You know, the fun part about this win streak for City is that FC Ann Arbor match, that AFC Ann Arbor match, which was going to be big already, if City can hold on tonight and win Friday against Michigan Stars, that could actually be for the division lead, and that would be huge, because with the amount of points that the Great Lakes Division top 3 are accumulating against a weaker second half of the table, they could have a point total, a points per game average, high enough to not have to play in the first round of the NPSL playoffs and to be able to wait for some of the other playoff matches to happen. So the way City playing right now, and a lot of football left to go, half an hour tonight and 90 minutes against the Stars. But if you'd have thought when City began the season, no wins, 2 draws and a loss in their first 3, that we could be talking about a battle for a division a month and a half later, it's a turnaround that is one that Ben Pierman and the boys should be very proud of. And you should come along for the ride for. Tickets available at DeadCityFC.com.
Francisco Puentes coming into the game for Mehdi Himmich. Himmich's evening comes to a close with that yellow card on the record. Elijah Rice the target with that pass, and that's been a good system here tonight. Get the ball to 32 somehow, some way. He'll make some magic happen. He's got one of the 2 DCFC goals.
Look at how far forward Spencer Glass is. Spencer Glass has become a de facto midfielder. City right now has their fullback so far forward, they are in reality almost playing a 2-5-3 at the moment because there's been no real need to tax the center backs. And we've seen the dividends paid as Spencer Glass gets forward again. He's looking like a midfielder. He's already all the way already at the halfway line as it goes to the other side of the pitch.
The next 15 minutes of play are brought to you by Rip It, the official energy drink of Detroit City FC. Here comes the captain, Dave Edwardson. Edwardson had a goal last year. Was a league player of the year during his college days at Spring Arbor. Has a goal and an assist this season.
That's a little heavy touch by Spencer.
So Sadie goes down, and the foul will go against Steven Munoz.
And see, that's the difference between FC Indiana in the first half and Cyrus now. Cyrus went down because he was fouled. And with the contact there, he drew the free kick. Sometimes you have to be smart about it.
Glass curls one in, and Elijah Rice, the target, just out of the reach of Elijah Rice. So that ball scooped up by the keeper Orozco, who's been busy here in the second half. Of course, Orozco used to being busy, plays in the Major Arena Soccer League with the Syracuse Silver Knights. And right now, as far as the second half goes, he probably doesn't notice much difference in terms of the shots he's facing. DCFC with some heavy fire here in the second half. That ball served in. And Mizo unable to catch up with it, but that's okay because it gives us an opportunity to get you the answer to our weekly trivia presented by Faygo. This week's question, what were the 3 original Faygo flavors? And we've had some tweets sent in with the hashtag WatchCity. And everybody's been wrong, including my broadcast partner. Fruit punch, strawberry, and grape.
Okay,
there you are.
Fruit punch, strawberry, and grape. By the way, while we were giving you that Faygo answer, the gentleman with the megaphone you saw on the screen was Dean. He goes by Padre with the Northern Guard. He's one of the capos. And he's done an amazing thing this month. He is one of the founders and one of the driving forces behind a fundraising campaign called Pride Raiser. And that's not Dean. Dean's wearing a bald cap, but that is one of the Northern Guard capos. There's Dean. Padre's up there. And he's an IT guy by day, but this month he and other supporters groups around the country have organized grassroots pledges for goals scored, with the proceeds going to LGBT organizations around this country. City supporters have pledged well over $300 a goal to go to LGBT charities here in Metro Detroit, and it was completely a grassroots movement in support of the LGBT community here during Pride Month in June. 6 matches at Keyworth, goals going in for all of them. And that was all started by members of the Northern Guard, who are more than just a supporter section. So well done. More information available at prideraiser.org.
So you can certainly go to that site and check out all the great things going on. The Northern Guard, it's what they do. It's what I talked about before. They take care of their own in the community. There's certainly no doubt about that. They take care of the community, and really in an effort to leave it better than they found it. And that's really all you can ask anyone, right? If you do that, you're doing your due diligence as a human.
And I'll tell you what, for all that they do and for as salty as they can sometimes get, the Northern Guard and that fella, Padre, and all the rest of them care an awful lot about the city where they live, an awful lot about the people, and their ability to live and be as they are. So well done, Northern Guard. Well done, Padre. And well done to City here in the 64th minute. Coming off the pitch, Kervin Kenton.
Kervin Kenton comes out. Jeff Atkins comes into the game for Detroit City. Atkins scored 3 goals for DCFC last year. Now, Atkins was on the All-10, or the Atlantic 10 All-Rookie team at Butler back in 2012. During his time there, scored a game-winning goal against number 7 Marquette. He has scored his share of big goals throughout his soccer playing career. Detroit City FC with this 2-0 lead. FC Indiana playing with 10 men. Their starting keeper, Kyle Bouguet, was shown the door in the 45th minute. It's very much a grim situation here for FC Indiana, down by 2, down by a man, on the road here in Keyworth.
We're helping educate our listeners. Jamie Ventura writing in after that foul. Just had to look up apoplectic. You learn something new every day. Well, you're welcome. Today's word of the day, apoplectic.
Well, Jamie, I didn't go look it up, and I still don't know what it means, but let's move on. Sorry. Spencer Glass will throw it in. I know about that. I know Spencer Glass has a goal here tonight. And he has the ball. Tried the nutmeg move, but the door was closed. Tracking it down is Zach Bach to the midfield, the captain, Dave Edwardson. Hoskins having a kickabout with Edwardson. And Hoskins, third team Division II All-American at St. Edwards.
And you know what? This is the good part about this City club this year, Neil. Owen Hoskins is not a regular. He's not a regular in the 11. He's a spot start guy. But he's worked hard in training, and he's getting rewarded for that with the playing time tonight. And it shows you a lot about the depth of this squad, that a guy that we haven't seen a whole lot of can come out here and play the way he has in defense, in teaming with Bach, Zach Bach, to shut down pretty much all of the central attack for FC Indiana. When your squad play, it's like a good utility infielder. You don't get an at-bat for 5 or 6 games. You come in, you wrap out a single. Well, what he's done is wrap out a couple of singles tonight. And that's a heads-up performance and deserves recognition for it.
Well, coming onto the pitch right now is a man that's hit a lot of home runs as of late for Detroit City FC, as Sean Lawson comes into the game. Lawson has things cooking. As you see, he's coming in to replace Elijah Rice, and Elijah Rice getting a standing ovation from some of the LaRouge fans here in attendance, and rightfully so.
Getting a pat on the back from Ben Pierman.
And that's also rightfully so. He spotted DCFC that 1-0 lead in the 23rd minute. Glass settles it down. Glass sends it into space. Cyrus Sadie, with not his best effort on the first touch. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. The ball, however, played out for a corner.
You're learning there. Yeah, that was a step slow from Cyrus Sadie, and good spot by you, partner, to know, because Cyrus Sadie can very easily turn on a man and burst in, and he didn't have the burners there.
So here comes a corner for City. 68th minute. Corner comes in. Sadie steps into one with the right foot, tried it off the volley. But that ball was about waist high.
That was a home run swing with warning track power right there. He was trying to go for a little too much. When you have to get the boot that high and sideways
on a ball with that much action on it,
yeah, bad things will happen, and Cyrus knows that. But listen, you're in the
2-0, man. Take a rip.
You're in the 68th minute, and let's have a go, because you know you've been able to basically control things all night here, and so sometimes things happen. But the better play there would have been just to settle it down, and pass it off, and set something up, because everyone was forward, and you have the advantage with a man already.
One coming up for FC Indiana. Brock Exline will toss it in. Exline leading this FC Indiana side with 4 goals this season. There's a man with a lot of goals playing that one down, Sean Lawson, the former Golden Grizzly great under head coach Eric Pogue. The ball comes to the middle, and there's Zach Bach settling it down.
Smart, just turned it off his chest. Saw he had another defensive partner back there, and just turned it off his chest. Really smart play to get it out of the middle of the pitch. Speculative hoof there.
Fuentes plays it to the right. Suwango. Nice move through the middle. Now the ball played high in the air.
Yeah, but that's the perils of the one-man front line. He had 2 center backs right on him, and there was no way he was going to be able to control that enough to shoot. It got to him, but getting to him, that's kind of like a a cornerback playing somebody and using the sticks as a defender. You know where the sticks are. You may make somebody, if they have to come back short of the sticks to make the catch, just don't let them gain the first down. And that's what that is.
Munoz will toss this one in for FC Indiana. We're in the 70th minute. 2-0 DCFC with the lead. My name is Neil Rule. John Krieger, my broadcast partner. Lindsey Pearson, our sideline reporter. There's Cyrus Sadie playing it through the middle. Tyler Moorman checked into the game recently as well. With a nice touch to Lawson. Moorman back to Lawson. There Godum trying to run it down.
It's Sean being a little bit rusty coming off the bench. Of course, he had a very good weekend and has earned a little bit of that rust, but the touch just a little heavy there and allowed the step through in the passing lane.
I'll tell you what was heavy. The way Derek Odom just had to wear that one off the foot of his teammate.
If you can't beat him, beat him. Nice crowd here at Keyworth tonight.
All right, well, let's take a look at tonight's attendance. Brought to you by Rip It Energy, 4,354 on a Tuesday here at Keyworth Stadium. And I've talked about it, I've said it a couple times, but truly is, the club is going up on a Tuesday, Lindsey Pearson.
Absolutely. And the club well attended, well followed, and it shows that against the bottom team in the Great Lakes Division on Tuesday night, a work night for people, still 4,000 plus.
It is incredible, no doubt about it. Sean Lawson with some pressure. That ball goes over the line. Coming up for Detroit City. And, you know, John, really, right now you get the feeling from the pitch, both teams are kind of content with where things stand right now. Over the course of the last 5 minutes, some of the energy's really been sucked out of the pitch.
Yeah, it's, you know what, it's FC Indiana has had to run. They're running out of gas. Detroit City knows that they're 2-0 to the good with 19 minutes to go, and they need to play possession football. They need to control things. They need to just run out the clock. The problem is, or the important thing to note is, that in this kind of a situation, all of the pressure is on Detroit City. You're sitting there and you're 2-0 to the good, but one counter attack changes things and makes it tight toward the end of things. And so it is incumbent, especially on the back line for City, to track back, to stay tight, to stay in a good line, to set up that high line they've been keeping for most of the night, and to not allow a sloppy back pass or deflection that turns into a fluky goal that all of a sudden makes you have to think for the final 10 minutes.
Cyrus Sadie, the target, that ball played out of bounds. More tweets coming in with a hashtag Watch City. Reagan Bartha checks in, says, I'm watching City from 30,000 feet. I love these. These are always my favorite, people that are watching on a plane. If you're watching on a plane right now, send us a tweet with a picture. I have pictures or it didn't happen.
30,000 feet, that is 6 miles in the air, one for each of City's consecutive wins. I'll take it.
Absolutely. So Reagan, we appreciate you popping for that Wi-Fi on the flight and checking out the broadcast here tonight. But again, if you're on a plane right now, send us a tweet with a picture. We'll bring it up. Now up the left side, there's Spencer Glass again, trying to serve it into the box. And here's Cyrus Sadie. Sadie tried the same thing. The same thing happened. Glass one more time. That almost got all the way through to Lawson, I believe. And now it'll be touched up high in the air.
And look at City's back line here, immediately getting in and closing off the front man running. Every time FC Indiana all night has tried to get forward, it's been an immediate great job by the City midfield to shut off the sideways pass and the City back line to get over and disrupt any passing lanes going forward. Ben Pierman wasn't happy with the way his team played in the first half. I give them a little more credit.
How about that play by the ball boy too, knocking that ball down with the right foot. Got it high in the air. That was up at almost chest level.
Professional at every level here at DCFC.
That was an incredible effort by the ball boy. Well done, young man. 75th minute, 2-0. Detroit City FC with the lead. And there you see He's a house of fire. He is ready to roll. Everybody's locked in right now. And Lawson, the target. Ball headed away from him.
He wouldn't mind a 6th goal in 7 games, would he? And City able to play it back near the halfway line and still keep possession. Spencer Glass screaming for the ball on the near side of the pitch. He's waving his arms. He wants City to reverse the field.
Sadie, the target, launches the volley up into the air. And Sean Lawson again was the target. Spencer Glass steps into a left-footed blast one more time, but sends it wide of the right post.
And that lash at the ball was a little bit of, I finally got the ball on my feet, I'm going to shoot, because Spencer Glass was coming down the near side of the pitch, screaming for the ball as City was taking it up the far side, and it was a really congested far side of the pitch. And Spencer Glass in acres and acres and acres of space. One of our viewers tonight, Nicole Getz, is a farmer. She'd understand what acres of space has to do. And he wanted the ball, and it didn't get to him. And so finally, when it ended up on his boot, he said, I'm going to have a lash, and it ended up in Rosette.
Troy Watson set to check into the game for Detroit City. The ball served up towards the box one more time, but again, at Detroit City back line, more than up to the challenge.
Oh, what a play there. Stepping in first Odom to force the pass sideways, and then City's back line to disrupt the passing lane. And when that happens, when you've had your passing lane disrupted all night, then all of a sudden FC Indiana has a guy that's making a legitimate run. Henry Ramirez was in, but the pass was too fast because the midfielders for FC Indiana started hearing footsteps.
Next 15 minutes of play presented by Strategic Staffing Solutions, sponsors of the S3 Beer Garden here at Keyworth Stadium and the DCFC International Series. As Watson will come into the game, replacing Derek Odom. Troy Watson, who had a couple of assists last year, he's been a steady presence for this Detroit City Football Club for a while now. Played his college soccer at Saginaw Valley State, up I-75 way. Derek Odom, the subject of the Grand Circus player profile.
And Odom coming off having done a good shift, having put in a good shift. Disrupted a lot of passing lanes, was able to move the ball forward, able to transition into attack. And Derek Odom really deserves his rest. He's done a good job as part of the forward 3 tonight.
Spanks hustles back to make the play defensively. More tweets with the hashtag WatchCity. DW from Detroit tweets at us as watching City from a beautiful Taco Tuesday in Portland, Oregon.
I'm jealous.
All Taco Tuesdays are beautiful. Doesn't matter where you are.
I'm jealous.
Z-Lam7 tweeting I'm supporting DCFC from Indiana. That's got to count for something, right? It certainly does. We appreciate you, Z-Lam7. FC Indiana, they're number 7 with the possession right now. Benjamin Sierra. It's played out towards the left side. Suongo had it for a minute, now gets it back. He's chased out towards the sideline, just turns and sends the ball into the box, but nobody's on the other end for FC Indiana. Sadie with the touch.
And that's where you know you're getting a little bit leggy. When the ball runs off your boot like that, when it just kind of spurts away and you're not able to control it, that's where you know kind of the foot's going off the accelerator pedal. Just a little bit. Different time in the game, that's controlled and moving forward. As it is, it's FC Indiana possession.
Fuentes plays it towards the middle, but as we've talked about a lot here in the second half, that ball just trickles back to Zach Bach. Detroit City FC will work it up the right side here in the 79th minute.
There's a reason he's on the reigning NPSL Team of the Week alongside Shankar Lawson. Because that, for as good as Lawson has been, Zach Bach has been an anchor at center back, and he has matured during this season. He was over-aggressive and had a lot of moments of over-pursuit early in the year. He has shored that up. He's learning how to play smarter with the back line and in Ben Pierman's system, and he has been truly an anchor along the back line with the rotating squad players tonight.
Spencer Glass with some pressure. Well, Spencer Glass, for a defender, as you talked about, has spent a lot of time in the forward third of the field here this evening. Cyrus Sadie scissoring along the sideline.
City only sending 2 forward right now. They've dropped that third ball forward back into midfield, and they're just kind of trying to shore things up and not allow the counterattack. There was no real impetus to that attack. All it did was occupy 30 seconds, which with 79 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock is the more important commodity.
Especially when you have a 2-goal lead. 80 minutes down. 2-0 DCFC with the lead, looking for a 7th consecutive win here in MPSL play. They have put it together. Henry Ramirez trying to put it together for FC Indiana, running through on the run, and that ball trickles in. And Pena had to make a save. It's the first time he's been challenged in a long time.
And Spinks had to put in a pretty hard challenge on Ramirez in there to body him off the ball, and rather on X-line, I think, was up there as well. And Spinks had to go in kind of hard on the challenge. Take a look, there's a block, and then it comes in, and here's a chance to get in, and Spinks with, or rather that's Owen Hoskins, with a great shoulder challenge to go in and go in hard, but go in clean and dispossess the ball.
So now the training staff making their way back out onto the field.
You don't like to see a City man down with 9 minutes to go here.
Henry Ford Health Systems, the official sports medicine provider for DCFC. They are out on the pitch right now as the players break up into some little groups and have a chat.
And looks like up and no worse for wear.
There's the head coach, Ben Pierman. And the assistant coaches, as always, for Detroit City FC, Jordan Andrews, Klaus de Boer, Brett Mullen, and Josh Rogers. There's a look at Josh Rogers and the assistant coaching staff here for Detroit City. As we will get Seb Harris coming into the game. Speaking, we were talking about Sean Lawson, former Oakland Golden Grizzly. And Adam Spinks looks like he will be okay, but his evening has come to a close, and fan favorite Seb Harris comes into the game, became a father in the offseason, former professional player overseas. Good cat, Seb Harris. I'm a big Seb Harris guy.
And so a lot of the Northern Guard gave him a good welcome when he came on, as you said, a fan favorite. But also that's a 5th defender out there as Spinks, the midfielder, comes out. That's yet another indication from Ben Pierman. The scoring is done. Now it's about keeping the 0, getting the 3 points, and helping the goal difference as well.
And Seb Harris coming back and winning that ball. Don't tell Seb Harris he's in there to defend Mr. Krieger. He's not hearing that. He's on the run.
Hey, Sebby can do what Sebby wants. He wore the armband for part of a friendly earlier this year, and the fans went nuts. A nice reward by Ben Pierman for some long and dedicated service for Sebby. Saw him in the armband. He went through the congratulation line with the Northern Guard, wearing the captain's armband, and good night for him. Henry Ramirez doing some good work in midfield for FC Indiana. Don't tell him he's down 2-0 and down a man, trying to make something happen. The problem is there's just no space right now.
And again, you have to give a tip of the cap to FC Indiana. 1 win, 7 losses, and a draw on the season. Would have been very easy for them at many points in this match to just come out and throw in the towel. They were beaten up pretty good on Saturday at Ann Arbor. They lost 5-0. They come out strong here tonight. So give the nod to Eric Castro and the FC Indiana coaching staff. They hung in this match. They've had moments, John.
Well, this is what this is
Benjamin
what
Sierra with one.
A nice moment in there. This is what Chris Castro was telling me about. He was saying that these are young kids, and he says, look, you're going to be, I think, impressed with the way my kids fight tonight. He said that where we are on the table, the score lines we've put up are not indicative of the heart my kids have. And we've seen heart today. Ben Pierman was not wrong when he said that this could be a completely different game, a completely different match on a different night. And if it were not for a penalty save and some really good saves by Fernando Pena early on, this could be an entirely different proposition than the easy 2-0 win it's looking like for City right now.
Cyrus Sadie turns around with it. 85th minute. Sadie controlling the ball. Cyrus Sadie fouled.
That is called Cyrus Sadie being big and physical and forcing the foul. All he did was play his normal game. He never broke stride. He was in there. He was going to have possession. He used his body to shield the ball, and by doing that and turning around his defender, he forced the pull of the shirt, and that got the whistle on the free kick.
So here comes Jeff Atkins. You would think Sean Lawson would be a target here. And here we go. It's sent in. The foul was called. I believe Owen Hoskins was a guilty party. As 85 minutes in the books as the smoke pours out from the Northern Guard supporters section.
One of my favorite parts of every match. Smoke from 85 minutes on. And well earned for the boys in rouge and gold tonight.
So John, it looks like this result will hold here in the 86th minute. So right away, your attention turns to the table here in the Great Lakes Conference Division. Detroit City FC will improve to 23 points through 10 matches played. AFC Ann Arbor with 25 points through 10 matches played. And you begin to think, as that ball be played into the box and shot over top of the frame, as Tyler Moorman had a golden opportunity. How big is that Friday night matchup? And AFC Ann Arbor comes calling here in Keyworth Stadium. You think this place is going to be any good that night? Think there's going to be any electricity in this building?
I think we might have a party in Detroit, as the song from the Northern Guard says, and no one will sleep on July the 7th. Tickets available now, by the way, DebtCityFC.com. Click on the Tickets tab for single game tickets. Also available, in addition to single game seats, the DFCU Lounge. It's the VIP experience for Detroit City Soccer. Food and beverages in a prime seating location. One of the best values in professional sports.
Absolutely. Get to sit on the pitch, literally on the pitch in seats.
They had a great view for Pena's penalty save right in front of them there that net the first half of things. But what it sets up here, this was the game in hand against AFC Ann Arbor. And with a win tonight now, they're inside that three-point cushion. You win and you hold up your end of the bargain against Michigan Stars, a team you had a 2-goal lead against in Berkeley, and you got pegged back. If you win the home fixture, now you go in and you are the guy chasing the leader that has had some times where they've struggled a little bit. They are on top of the table for a reason, but they haven't been perfect for all 90 every match this year. And you have them coming in at home, and if you win that, then you have the division lead going into the final week home and home against Lansing, and then really everything is in your hands. So the way City have been able to get back into this, the next important thing is never take your foot off the gas. Put it behind you, take half an hour to celebrate it, and get ready for Friday night, because just like tonight was a trap game, so is Michigan Stars. You can't get looking forward to AFC Ann Arbor.
And the moral of the story is this, John, and it may be hard for some to believe because of the start that we talked about, the 2 draws and a loss through 3 games played, and the way AFC Ann Arbor took off to the top of the table, it seemed like there was no chance of this. The moral of this story, LaRouche controls their fate, no matter which way you slice it up. They control their fate right now. They are in charge. Whatever they do, they hold the keys. They can be a champion if they choose to be.
You know, Ben Pierman from the start of this season said if we can get through the first half, good things can happen. And that Glentoran match at home, we said during the open, as a sub for City,
Mauricio Castorino coming into the game for that man, Ben Pierman. And Cyrus Sadie coming off to a nice ovation, as always, from this crowd here at Keyworth.
And well-deserved. Listen, I think the entire turn of this season was thanks to the Glentoran FC friendly. This team bonded that night. They got to forget about the start that they had. It was a nice play for Lawson.
Lawson in the move, and the shot, and the save is made. Atkins fires with the right foot, but that was blocked.
Heck of a play there by the FC Indiana back line, or it should have been 3-0. That Glentoran match turned everything around, Neil. The bonding they had, the ability to forget about the early start, to really buy into Ben Pierman's system, it started this run. In reality, it's 8 straight for City, about to be 9 with friendly wins over Glentoran and the Columbus Crew College program. And it's because that weekend, I think, against Glentoran taught them that Ben Pierman's system could work, and you saw some buy-in. And now you have 4 matches left in the league. 3 of them are at home, and 1 of them is at Lansing. It sets up well for City.
3 minutes of stoppage time here as 90 minutes have come and gone. Detroit City FC will get the win here tonight and the 3 points. I'll climb out on that limb and say that's going to happen. Tyler Moorman turns with it. Sean Lawson on the move, on the run. Lawson tried to play it across to Atkins. But Orozco made the diving stop. Orozco's played pretty well during his time here tonight, pressed into duty after the starting goalkeeper Kyle Bouguet scooped up the red card in the 45th minute.
He's been just as pressed as Bouguet was. In fact, he's been a little more composed than Bouguet was. He's not necessarily as much of a sweeper keeper. He's more of an in-the-area guy. And with the exception of Spencer Glass's volley, which frankly neither of those keepers was going to stop, it was perfectly placed. He's been really good between the sticks and has kept it from being a more lopsided City win. Well done to the backup keeper. It's the second time we've seen a backup keeper at Keyworth this year after Noah Fazekas was set off for Grand Rapids FC. And Orozco has looked the more composed of the 2 reserve keepers to come in.
Sean Lawson has a bit of an issue with it at his feet as the stoppage time rolls on. Detroit City FC will improve to 7-1 and 2 draws, with all to play for coming up here in the home stretch of the NPSL season.
Partner, I can't wait for Friday to be back in the booth with you. It's been a great ride for us so far this season, one of the best of my career, and the way this team is playing Friday is going to be fun.
No question about that. This atmosphere will be charged as it will be the rest of the way in. Coming out, making a run was Castorino at that. Sean Lawson was the target up the right side. Now Lawson has it. Atkins making a long run across. Lawson puts the brakes on. Moorman.
What a turn to keep it and hold it up.
Edwardson. Lawson the target. Castorino steps into the right foot blast, and it trickles in on the skip. Orozco who makes the grab, and it can't be long now.
He bent that around his defender, but unfortunately, he didn't catch all of it, scuffed his foot on the turf a little bit, and that allowed Orozco to get in. And that's a heck of a punt by Orozco, saying to Mr. Pena on the other end, anything you can do, I can do better.
Pena will make the grab.
He's going to wait till he has someone chase him down, and he plays it out with his foot, surprising. Normally in that situation, he'd have waited for the attacker to chase and then picked it up and inspected every stitch on the ball.
Castorino turns with it. Looking to make a move. Castorino through some space. Moorman. Atkins. Atkins stepping over. He crosses. Nobody's home for Detroit City.
Finisher
the whistle
run.
Sounds, and the cakes are on the griddle here in Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC pulls within 2 points of AFC Ann Arbor with a 2-0 win over FC Indiana.
Ben Pierman got what he wanted, a much better performance even he, I think, would have to admit in the second half. If he's critical after halftime, then I think maybe he's being a little harsh. But they got the 3 points. It was a trap game from start to finish. You have the bottom team in the table coming in. Every opportunity with an early penalty that could have been an equalizer to be in a whole world of hurt and have to fight for one. Instead, the City lads stuck firm. They get the 3 points, and they are in the thick of things, still in the playoff places and chomping at the heels of the leaders.
Most importantly, their destiny in their own hands. The game in hand tonight is a victorious one for DCFC. Again, they improved to 7-1-2 on the season. FC Indiana falls to 1-8-1. It was a very game FC Indiana side. They were a penalty away from leveling this match in the first half. But after their starting goalkeeper, Kyle Bouguet, was shown the door in the 45th minute, that really sealed the fate for FC Indiana here tonight.
It did, and also I have to say I think this game was a little bit lost when the team sheets came out, because FC Indiana was clearly trying to set up to neutralize the City attack and win on the counter. The problem is with the one-man front man up front with Bakayoko before he was subbed off when the red card happened, City's center backs were all they needed to truly defend tonight. It allowed a lot of space for the fullbacks. It allowed a lot of space for the midfield. And Bakayoko, to his detriment, really didn't track back. He's a forward man that is only thinking about staying in the box. And the 4-1-4-1 never really took off. And that allowed City to really own the pitch this evening. So, listen, sometimes you have to go with what you have and play with the players that you have. But City's 4-3-3 has worked all season, and it worked again tonight because the way that FC Indiana set up and then the way they were unable to adjust because of the man disadvantage really didn't allow them to pressure City at all in meaningful ways for a lot of this match, especially after halftime. They had opportunities on the counter. They didn't convert them. We don't want to say that they didn't have opportunities. But for the majority of this match, City had possession. They were in control. They had the more tactically sound setup play. And I know Ben Pierman was harsh, but really between the two sides, the scoreline is deserved and fair for what we saw on the pitch.
They also had more speed with Elijah Rice, no question about it. Let's send it down to our sideline reporter, Lindsey Pearson, standing by with head coach Ben Pierman. Lindsey.
Thanks, Neil. Coach, you weren't happy with your first half performance. What do you think about the second?
A little bit better. We possessed the ball for like a minute 18 straight seconds and got a good chance off, and then we scored right after. And so we were a little bit more deliberate to start the second half, got the goal, and kind of just closed up shop. Wasn't a good performance overall outside of like Fernando, and I thought Derek had a very good first half. Obviously Spencer played pretty well. So other than that, it shows good character to come out with the win and a shutout. But we were fortunate, like I said, at halftime. So I told the team, win, lose, or draw, all these games, you just have to move on to the next piece. So we'll put this one behind us, get a little light session the next 2 days and regroup for Stars. I know they're eliminated from the playoffs now, but they're a tough team. They got a lot of good players. They got a lot of experienced players, good talent. So we got to make sure we're ready to play, and we kind of owe them from the last game.
And this is your 7th league win in a row. What's been key for your team during this stretch?
A little bit more discipline, a little bit more cohesion. We got all our guys in and then a little bit healthier. We were missing a good amount tonight, and we got some guys out for the season now, but it's just a little bit sharper overall. We were kind of dealing with like plugging guys in holes the first 2 weekends, and now we've had more of an identity just going forward and defending a little bit better.
Thanks, Coach. Guys, I'm also joined by Spencer Glass. No, I am not. Man of the match, Spencer Glass, is right over there. Hopefully we'll hear from him. He's coming over right now. Man of the match tonight.
Yeah.
Walk us through that goal you had.
I just kind of saw the ball, and I like my left foot, and the goalie was biting left, so I just tried to curl it back post. And everyday shot.
And you're playing a little more offensive-minded today. Is that your natural position?
No, usually I play left back here, which is where I'm more comfortable, but it's where they needed me today, and I'm glad I could just do what needed to be done and close out a win.
And this is your 7th win in a row, league win in a row. What's been key for you guys during this stretch of games?
I think just staying together and staying positive. We gelled really quick together after that first weekend, and you can see it in the results. So just staying positive and working together at practice and keeping doing what we're doing is exactly what we need.
And this is your third game in 5 days, and you've got one on Friday. What's going to be key heading into that Friday game?
I think it's just the mentality of treating your body right off the field, nutrition, getting off your feet, not doing anything dumb, just doing what you need to do to get ready for Friday, mentally and physically.
Thanks, Spencer. Great job tonight. Neil, back to you.
Thank you very much, Lindsey. Spencer Glass, the man of the match here tonight. And John, those defenders, and look, and he was really low-key about it. But those defenders, when they get a chance to jump up into the mid, they relish that.
Oh, they love that. When they have the freedom to roam up the wings and go in acres of space and they're not being challenged by their opposite number, they'll take that all day. And that was not an everyday shot. That was a great goal.
Let's take a look at the updated table now in the Great Lakes Conference of the NPSL. And there it is right there in front of you. Detroit City FC. They still have a matchup against AFC Ann Arbor in the near future coming up. They control their fate, and they move. Obviously, they have a game in hand against Lansing United, but they move 5 points clear for the meantime against Lansing United. And then we'll bring us to the upcoming matches for Detroit City FC. So as you take a look at that table, take a look at these upcoming matches. Key, major key, as they say in the hip-hop community. Major key games coming up.
Sure, and the first one starts Friday night. You take a look at this, and this is where the danger comes. You see AFC Ann Arbor looming in a week from Friday. You see Lansing United with a home and home the next week. You know they're the ones you're chasing. You can't forget about the one you got to beat first. This team proved, Michigan Stars proved in Berkeley, they can peg you back. Go out, do what you did tonight. You don't necessarily have to be at your best. You have to do what's good enough to win. You don't know what Ben Pierman's lineup is going to look like. I'm sure there'll be more squad rotation, but you got to come out with 3 points. Then you get to think about chasing down the leaders. But for now, it's JWB. Just win, baby. Get 3 points.
That certainly is the scenario, and I'd like to thank all our good friends over at the Foaling Warehouse for their support. Of course, you can head to the Foaling Warehouse before the matches, take part in the pregame match, or the pregame march over to Keyworth Stadium. Lots of fun always at the Foaling Warehouse. 2-0, Detroit City FC with the win here today. Elijah Rice struck in the 23rd minute to get things started. And then it was Spencer Glass who put the cakes on the griddle officially for Detroit City FC, and that provided all the cushion that Fernando Pena would need between the pipes here tonight for DCFC, and they sent over 4,300 spectators home. Very happy, as we will take a look at the Motor City Casino match recap.
And the recap of this match, certainly chippy to begin and a little bit of a lack of flow to start as the teams felt each other out. But then City found some joy, but not without a couple of quick opportunities for FC Indiana, early saved by the new City keeper Pena.
Yep, as Elijah Rice certainly was a factor here tonight, and he got things started with the touch goal on the perfect setup by Roddy Green. And then just moments later, a challenging situation for Fernando Pena as he stops the penalty from FC Indiana. And after that, we saw Elijah Rice just continue to have opportunity after opportunity on this FC Indiana side, but Spencer Glass would finally bank one in off the post with that left foot. And that would be the difference. 2-0 Detroit City FC with the win over FC Indiana. They are officially in the thick of it for a championship chase in the Great Lakes Conference. If you want to get the weekend recap, you can log on to DebtCityFC.com every Monday to read updates on Le Rouge. So that will do it for our coverage here tonight from Keyworth Stadium. For my broadcast partner John Krieger, our sideline reporter Lindsey Pearson, this is Neil Rule reminding you one final time, Detroit City with a big 2-0 victory over FC Indiana. It's all on the line as we come down the stretch. The Great Lakes Conference Division of the NPSL. Thank you everybody for watching here tonight. Well, see you later.